In today's video, we're gonna touch base with a case that surprised me at the end, but at the beginning it had some minor issues. I wouldn't say even issues. It's something that I noticed that you need to take into consideration while building a PC. So today we're going to talk about GAMEMAX CLAW 460 Black, BK, and we're having an AAO from them as well. This is ICEBURG 360 Digital Black as well, BK. And you have both of them in white, so most likely WH with the name at the end. But regardless of the names, we're going to start with those parts that I noticed. So you have a 140 fan at the back, and that is outstanding for a mid-tower chassis to have a possibility to place a 140 at the back. You need to think before you build, and this comes in play because it's good that I actually try all of these things to give you an idea and what to look after. So if you're trying to place a motherboard during the fan installed at the back, you're going to face some issues because the standoffs and the cable from the fan will block the motherboard going inside. So what I would suggest is removing the fan, placing the motherboard inside. This will also help you while placing the 360 radiator. You could manage placing a 360 while the 140 is at the back installed, but this will give you more clearance, easy movement, easy maneuvers, and just headache free, right? But before you do that, guys, you do need to connect EPS cables on your motherboard, because when you place the 360 radiator, it blocks entirely the connection for the EPS cables. So my advice for you guys, remove the fan, install the motherboard, connect all the cables that are possible, even though the PWM and addressable RGB at the top are still manageable, but harder to reach. And in that sense, when you're finished with the cables, place the 360 at the top, and then at the end place the 140 at the back. That's the solution that I would give you, and some sort of a order of component placement. That's it. Now, the only thing that I see that might be a bit bigger issue are the fans on the front, not the actual fans. These are three 140 Tornado T14 addressable RGB, and you have these bars that give you an option to move the fans on multiple positions, 120, 140. It just gives you loads of options. But what I got concerned about is that there are too many of these and they are blocking the airflow. They're not blocking airflow drastically, but why not have 120 and 140 in middle of the chassis, which will give you an option for a clearer airflow, not too much blockage or similar stuff. I mean, the performance isn't affected that much, but why not lower down the speeds, lower down the noise, and just get that performance clear from any blockage. That will be only my suggestion for future cases, because I don't think many will try to move anything from center position. That's the only logical way. And the cool thing about this case, the front panel with the claws on the front, the 5 lines, would be even better if they were glowing in some RGB lights. I mean, you can always switch them off if it's possible, but in this scenario, the only backlight that those claws are seeing basically is from the fans. It would just give additional effect, even though in this scenario it's minimalistic, it's nice, easy to clean, even though it's plexi, but it's just a nice touch to the chassis. And all in all, I think that's basically everything that I think that's just to give you an advice in component order placement and the air blockage. That's it. But it's nothing drastic to worry about. Now, for the positive stuff, and since we are at the side for the front panel, we have the IO ports, which are placed on the side. Now, they're not on the top, they're not at the bottom, they're strictly on the side, which give you an option for one 3.5 millimeter 4-pole jack for a microphone and for your headset. You have two USB 3.0 Type A, one USB Type C. You have a reset button, which can be either connected to the controller at the back, which we will get quite soon, or to your regular reset button. And of course, finally, we have a power on button. Now, since I touched base for the controller at the back, all the fans are already pre-connected, and you have more space for addressable RGB headers or additionally for PWM. Now, in that sense, what you can do is either control the lights through that reset button, or if you have the 3.5 volts addressable RGB header on your motherboard, simply just connect the controller to the board, and this will give you an option to synchronize literally everything that is connected to that controller via motherboard software, which is outstanding. So it does need SATA power, that controller. The PWM header needs to be connected to your motherboard, and addressable RGB header, it's optional if your motherboard supports it. But in general, this comes to the next scenario. When I opened the box and unboxed everything, when the case was purely empty, I saw the cables at the back and I was thinking, oh wow, I'll have to do cable management from scratch because all the cables are dangling everywhere. You know how it goes with some manufacturer shipping the case, just cables dangling, being loose and stuff like that. And some actually do a proper cable management, even if it's just for the 4 fans that are pre-installed. But guess what? I didn't touch them whatsoever. I left everything as it is, placed the power supply, motherboard, and all the components in the order I mentioned, and just reorganize the power supply cables. All the cables that were dangling from the fans, I just placed them in the Velcro tie because you have loads of Velcro ties. Plus, for the EPS cables, you have those extrusions out of the steel, so you can use those zip ties, tie them up quite nicely. And man, I was shocked. I was shocked how the cable management was really good and tidy. So this case, even though it doesn't leave 2.5 centimeters of space because it doesn't support back connect, so it doesn't need too much space at the back, it really looks outstanding at the back as well. And that's brilliant. Is it the controller? Maybe it is, but it's just well organized, and that's good. Now, since I'm at the back, what you can do is you have a controller that is magnetically sort of attached to the one slot for one cage for the 2.5-inch SSD. Now, if you decide to move it a bit and place it under the power supply shroud, you get an access to add additional 2.5-inch SSD cage. And this one is actually found in the accessory box. So in that sense, what you can do is you can place two SSDs, 2.5-inch, at the backside behind the motherboard, and you have a hard drive cage near the front panel, which gives you an option for either two 3.5-inch hard drives or one 3.5-inch hard drive and one 2.5-inch SSD. You have an option to place three 120mm fans on the power supply shroud, which will increase the intake a bit because we don't have any openings here at the bottom on the side, except maybe something at the bottom, but that's it. So backside is well organized. You have Velcro ties, you have possibility to use zip ties. You can really manage those cables quite nicely. And as you can see, even on front, it looks tidy, compact. I do have to say, it's a quite compact MIDI tower. Yet it fits a 360, yet it fits 4140. Still, you can fit a full-length GPU, and it looks nice. It really does look nice. So one thing that surprised me at the end when I was done was the cable management at the back. I honestly didn't expect it to be this clean. Okay, yeah, I tucked the excessive cables here between the hard drive cage and the power supply, but usually I occupy the hard drive cage as well if I go with the extensions. So in this sense, it's a quite nice case. I have nothing left to say. So as you can notice, this case comes with four 140 Tornado T14 addressable RGB fans pre-installed with the controller for addressable RGB and PWM, which is outstanding. It supports ATX motherboards, 420mm GPUs, that's outstanding, 175 air coolers, which is also really cool because, as I said, we're talking about smaller chassis. 360 liquid cooler at the top, and that's brilliant. For more details, what you can expect here, we have magnetic dust filter on the top. I'm not sure if it's magnetic on the front, but you do have it on the front as well, and we have it on the side as well as beneath the power supply. For the fan support, as I stated, on the front you can go with 3140, these are Tornado fans, but you can also swap them out and, I don't know, place 3120 or whatever you wish to go with. On top you can go with 3120 to 140, rear 1120, and power supply shroud 3120, and on the side you could go with 2120 if you desire to go with. Now for the radiator support, on the front you can't go with anything, but on the top you can go with 120, 140, 240, 280 or 360, and at the rear you could go with 120. Power supply length is up to 240 millimeters. Cables, no cables, it really doesn't matter. You have loads of clearance in the power supply shroud, so that's good. And for the cable management depth, what they mentioned is 21 millimeters, so basically I didn't miss too much. I missed only for 4 millimeters, but that's still okay. So the motherboard is pretty high, and the only thing that you need to take into consideration when doing this is the thickness of the radiator plus the fans with the height of the RAMs. I'm using their AAO paired up with Kingston Fury Renegade RGB DDR5, and they fit perfectly fine. These RAMs are somewhat higher than usual. They aren't low profile, so take that into consideration. So the iceberg, I do have to mention that, even though I don't like having two products in one video because I can't focus on one entirely. But regardless of that, this is their digital AAO that gives you an option to connect it via USB 2.0 directly to the motherboard. And then you download from their official website. I would suggest going directly to the product page and then to downloads, download their software, which immediately detects all the necessary information from your BIOS and shows it right here. It has alerts for higher temperatures, and it's really clean. It's nothing like you have to adjust. If you're looking for something that is purely digital, it just shows the information. This could be quite nice because it does perform solid as well. So let's go with that. With AIDA 64 Extreme Edition, GameMax CLAW 460 BK with ICEBURG 360 Digital BK, AMD Ryzen 9 7900 X3D with RTX 4080 Gaming X Slim. AIDA 64 Extreme Edition CPU went up to 86 degrees, clock speed was 4800 megahertz. That's quite solid. I do have to admit, checking out other benchmarks, what I saw is we have it from 78 to 90 and clock speed from 47, I think 47 100 megahertz was the lowest, up to 5. So yeah, that's good. And then we have GPU at 68. As you saw in my past videos, 66 is the most optimal for this GPU. 68 is still good because this GPU can go up to 73 depending on the case, depending on the airflow, and that's outstanding. So then we go forward with Cinebench R23. We, as usual, have 10 rounds on average with thermals 82.4 degrees, which is really okay. Nothing like spectacular, but definitely not disappointing. And then we have 5000 megahertz clock speed. That's really good. And the score is 26,505. So it goes, AAO goes definitely above average, and the case, actually, it's really good because these fans do blow enough air to create proper intake. So it all depends on your AAO, if you're going to go with iceberg 360 digital or you're going to go with something else. Are you going to switch the fans, or you're just going to keep everything? These are the scores that you're going to get approximately if we have the same chip, or if the Silicon Lottery struck us both with this processor in general. But I'm satisfied with all of this. It's really good in general. You have to tweak a bit, but I'm digging the case, I'm digging the design. It's something completely different. Loving this shape right here for the power supply shroud, and that the tempered glass is going a bit further down. Yet the cable management is outstanding, and just follow the order to remove the fan, place the motherboard, connect the cables, place the 360 radiator, return the 140 at the back, which will, well, basically save you some headache and just have a nice flow with building in this case, which is really good. Yeah. For the price and everything all together, this case is quite solid, and thumbs up for GameMax about this one. That's all that I can say. Digging the AAO just because it has, well, you have this infinity mirrors here on the top, and you have the infinity mirror on the middle part of the fan where the motor is. And for the lights, basically in the IO pump, you can't adjust literally anything. You have the thermals, you have the load, and you have the RPMs of the fan, so CPU fan 1, and that's it. But still a good solid deal altogether, and a nice package when you go and do something like this. The links for the GameMax CLAW 460 BK is in the description, as well as the iceberg 360 digital BK as well. And if you like the video, if you like the content in general, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, click the notification bell. I'll see you soon in another one. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.